My name is Branda Anderson. I've been at Trinity maybe 8 going on 9 years. I think that's about right. I think we started coming here before Cooper was born, and he's 7. Well, I had been to Trinity before we started attending. My niece went through the school and then the daycare, and my brother and sister-in-law had been attending here for a while. So I had come to Christmas Eve service and things like that. When Teresa and I were looking for a church that would be a place where we could serve openly and be accepted, we actually did research on the Reconciling in Christ website. And we were looking for churches that would be open and affirming, and Trinity came up. And I said, well, I know that church, and I know that, I know good things. And so we came here and started attending and just fell in love with the community and in the worship. And this became the place that we connected into. Oh, it's a very loving place. One of the things that we have always felt like when we walk in, people are excited to see us, and that people want us to connect. It's a genuine desire to hear our voices and to have us be part of the community. And you don't find that in every place. And so for us, that's been huge. Trinity, it's interesting because I grew up Catholic, went into the evangelical church in my younger years, and then kind of came back around to Lutheranism. And for me, Trinity, the structure and the rituals that are kind of embedded into Lutheranism have helped ground me back into the reality of my faith, I think, in terms of helping me see the importance of community. That's definitely something we're all missing in this time. And we've had people reach out. When Cooper read the gospel, people, reached out, and we're so thankful for that. And it reminded us the importance of the community. So being in a community that challenges me, that wants to hear my voice, that engages my family, helps me become better. There's a lot of young people that are about the age of my son, and many of us got to know each other in the cry room, and getting to know other families really made us feel connected, and feels like we could serve other people. I also feel like Trinity has pushed me to consider my community more. I, as a person, am very passionate about social justice, and so is Trinity, and seeing that in how we work with neighbors in need and support our community members who are not just, they're not necessarily part of the church, but they're our community. And that is, for me, a very big deal. Trinity makes me want to respond by being a better wife and mother, which admittedly has been challenging in COVID. We're stuck together a lot, and I'm an extrovert. As many people know, my wife is more of an introvert, which people don't necessarily think because she's a performer. And so for me, I've really had to work at being okay being at home, and then stretching myself to, and Trinity does a really good job about stretching myself. How can I support my community in the church? What can I be doing from far away? One of the strongest experiences falls under the idea of inclusion. Not only when Teresa and I started attending did we feel welcome here, but we were invited to be a part of what was going on. It wasn't simply, we're glad you're here. We were invited to be a part of it. And that, from even our first time attending the membership classes, of hearing about the process of the Reconciling in Christ, but also, Teresa gets to sing. I've been invited to do communion and to be a Sunday school teacher. And not just being here, we're not just allowed to be at Trinity, we're asked to be a part of Trinity. And for us, that's huge. And that really became apparent when our son was born. For us, the way that the church reacted to having Cooper around and still having him around and loving on him, for me as a parent, is huge. He's a kid with 2 mommies, and that makes him just a little bit different. And so to know that one of the safest places he'll ever be is in his church is it's so important to us. And that has been really impactful. Trinity's really building me up in a way of maturing in my faith. Sometimes people think I'm younger than I am, but being in my mid-40s and knocking on 45, there's a sort of the life of your faith grows and changes. I'm not who I was in my faith when I was 22 or 30. And so I found lately, for me, it's a maturing phase, not just in how I see the gospel and the teachings from the pastors, but also how I serve my community and how I relate to the church and the church body. And that's really something that's I'm being sort of pushed forward on, which is good within the church. And I was involved with council for a couple years, and that was phenomenal. And it felt overwhelming because I think of myself still as a 15-year-old but I'm not. And so to be able to ask to be in a position of that kind of leadership and that kind of support within church was really humbling and really made me think about what my role as I'm getting to this stage of my life that's just a little different than the stages I've been in before. If I could challenge the people of Trinity, it would be to do the work. And it was something I was thinking about this weekend, so it's a great question for me to address, is do the work of love all around you. It is really easy to come into these walls and see each other, which I know we're very excited about. Everybody gets to come back in and see each other. And the day that we can all hug and we can share a cup of coffee and share everything. But now in these most trying times, love the people around you. How are we serving Christ in our neighbors' lives, the ones that we maybe see more often? How are we reaching out to our families that are, maybe stuck at home? Are we Zooming? Are we calling? I need to be better about that, but I think it's a challenge we could all do, is how do we show Christ's love to our community during this time when we're, dealing with the pandemic and we're dealing with a political time when there's a lot of unrest. How can we help reconcile our community and the people right around us? So that would be the challenge, and not just to the people of Trinity, but to me as well.